The health minister said a new tax will likely be implemented to cover the cost of national health insurance. Things heat up over the fire that destroyed a dormitory at the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute, and harrowing details are revealed from the plane crash that killed 9 last year. We've got these stories and a whole lot more. I'm your host, Krishna Virgil, and this is the Tribune's Top 5. Authorities made a gruesome discovery on Monday after they put out a house fire in the Kamika Road area.
Police took a 21-year-old woman into custody in connection with the suspicious death of Ariel Lowe, who was discovered by firefighters with a black cord tied around her neck in a home on Kamika Road on Monday morning. Officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Chief Superintendent Paul Rule, told the Tribune that police took a young woman into custody on Tuesday. However, Mr. Rule would not say if the death has been classified as a homicide. A video showing Miss Lowe, a recent graduate of St. Andrew's School, being abused by a woman, allegedly her lover, went viral on social media on Tuesday. In the video, a woman whose face was not seen videotaped herself slapping and hitting Miss Lowe in the face and back. Mr. Roll would not comment on whether the woman in the video was the same woman in police custody. Superintendent Roll believes the fire was intentionally started. When officers arrived on the scene at around 9 a.m. on Monday, they found a section of the home partially engulfed in flames. Firefighters extinguished the blaze and discovered the victim lying on the bedroom floor. In order for national health insurance to be implemented come January 2016, a new tax will likely be implemented, according to Health Minister Dr. Perry Gomez. Dr. Gomez on Monday did not reveal the tax rate under consideration. However, the Tribune understands that the new scheme will be facilitated by a 1% payroll tax. The revelation came after Fort Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins interrupted Dr. Gomez during his contribution to the 2014-2015 mid-year budget debate and questioned whether Bahamians would see a new tax to facilitate the initiative. Dr. Gomez said, quote, "We have to pay for it. And as you may recall in the Blue Ribbon Commission report, that back then it was supposed to be paid for with a tax that was equitable because the driving force for NHI is the creation of equity. And so we had proposed a 5.4% tax on salary, and it is up to the team that is in place now to come up with what we are going to propose this time, but it has not been determined," end quote. Dr. Gomez told parliamentarians on Monday that NHI plans were well underway as Sanagest International and the Ministry of Health executed a consultancy agreement. The agreement, signed last Monday, is to provide technical assistance for the implementation of the insurance scheme.
Questions have been raised over just who will foot the cost of the fire-damaged BAMC dormitory after it was revealed that the structure was not insured at the time of the incident.
Minister of Works Philip Brave Davis on Wednesday admitted that the dormitory destroyed by fire at the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute in Andros last month was not insured at the time of the incident due to negligence on the part of the contractor. Mr. Davis explained to parliamentarians that the contractor failed to pay the annual insurance premium that covered the structure. The Tribune contacted Audley Hanna, the building's contractor, but he refused comment, saying his attorney was dealing with the situation. Calls were made to the attorney, but they were unanswered. During his contribution to the 2014-2015 mid-year budget debate, Mr. Davis said his ministry was now in discussions as to the way forward. He said officials project completion in June for the first phase of BAMC. The fire broke out on January 15th. Mr. Davis said, quote, "The dormitory that burned was initially earmarked for completion to allow accommodation of students for September 2014. At the contract signing, the contractor had everything that was required to contract work with my ministry, including contractors' all-risk insurance. However, because of the delay and the fact that the contractor failed to pay the annual premium, the insurance coverage expired. Full completion of Phase 1 is now projected for June 2015. My ministry is now in discussions as to the way ahead. When those discussions have been finalized and decisions have been made, I will bring an update to the House," end quote. Mr. Hanna was quoted in a local daily this week as saying he was not sure of whether the building was insured at the time of the fire. Prime Minister Perry Christie said that Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival is expected to generate $30 million for the Bahamas' economy. While closing the mid-year budget debate in the House of Assembly on Wednesday night, Mr. Christie said with proper execution, this year alone, the festival can yield $21 million. He said of the $9 million budgeted for Junkanoo Carnival, $1.7 million has already been spent with 214 small and medium-sized businesses throughout the islands to generate an estimated economic impact of $7.6 million. Junkanoo Carnival will be a series of cultural events scheduled to take place in Grand Bahama on April 17th and 18th and in New Providence from May 7th to 9th. Mr. Christie said the economic impact of the carnival will be particularly beneficial to young people who comprise the bulk of the performers, artisans, designers, and other local entrepreneurs.
The official aircraft accident report of the plane crash that happened in Grand Bahama last year revealed that pilots flying the aircraft disabled its warning awareness system.
The pilots of the Learjet that crashed and killed 9 on board in Grand Bahama last year disabled the plane's terrain awareness warning system when it warned them that they were flying too low and deliberately failed to adhere to standard procedures, according to the official aircraft accident report of the incident. One of the pilots said, quote, shut up, end quote, before disabling the terrain awareness warning system when it was advising them that they were too low and needed to pull up, according to an analysis of the cockpit voice recorder. The plane was carrying Dr. Miles Monroe, his wife Ruth, and other members of Bahamas Faith Ministries International to a global leadership conference in Grand Bahama when it crashed into a junkyard crane in bad weather on November 9th. According to the report, one of the pilots exclaimed, quote, climb, 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 end quote, just before impact with the crane. The picture painted by the report by the Air Accident Investigation and Prevention Unit of the Civil Aviation Department depicts pilots who, despite their experience and clean performance histories, made a series of inexplicable decisions that ultimately doomed the flight. The accident report, a copy of which was obtained by the Tribune, said the crew flew below the minimum required altitude, that the pilots withheld this information from air traffic control while trying to navigate through poor visibility. Investigators said the crew lacked crew resource management, a set of training procedures used in environments where human error could have fatal consequences. The crew's landing attempts were also unstabilized during both their first and second approaches, meaning that they exceeded the average rate of descent for planes. Investigators said that a strong motivator and psychological factor acting on the crew was the presence of and need of VIPs on board to get to Freeport that evening.
Want to get in on the discussion? Well, here's how you can. Just log on to our website at www.tribune242.com, like us on Facebook, the Tribune News Network, send us a tweet at Tribune242, or subscribe to our YouTube page, Tribune242.